Hello, Slaters. Welcome back to yet another interesting session for social studies. In our previous video, we learned so many interesting things about the Earth, isn't it? Now, in today's video interaction, we're going to recapitulate some of the important points and also discuss some questions and answers. At the end of this video, there'll be an image which will show you the questions that you need to answer before we meet for the next session. So, Slaters, let's begin. We all know how the Earth got its name. Let us now understand how the other planets were given their names. Mercury. Mercury is named after the Roman messenger of God. Venus. Venus is named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty. It is also known as the morning star and the evening star. Mars. Mars is named after the Roman god of war. Jupiter. Jupiter is named after the king of Roman gods. Saturn. Saturn is named after the Roman god of agriculture. Uranus. Uranus is named after an ancient Greek king of gods. And finally, Neptune is named after the Roman god of sea. Let us now turn our focus to some points pertaining to environmental crisis. Global environmental crisis and risks are basically caused by human activities. They are becoming increasingly complex and are interconnected with far-reaching consequences on people, economies, and the ecosystems. International policy groups have made several and increasingly sophisticated efforts to capture the complex risks using frameworks such as the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is, the IPCC report on reasons for concern regarding climate change risks, and the World Economic Forum's annual Global Risks reports. Now, Slaters, here are some questions for you. Please make a note of them and try and answer them in your classwork. Question 1. Global warming is largely because of human activities. Justify with suitable examples. Question 2. How does the heliocentric model differ from the geocentric model of the solar system? Alright, Slaters, let's move on now. Do you remember that we had discussed the Big Bang theory and the theory of continental drift in our first video? Let us now look at some more theories about the formation of the Earth. The Nebular hypothesis. Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher, proposed this theory. And in 1796, a mathematician, Pierre Simon Laplace, re-examined the theory. According to this hypothesis, the planets were all molded out of a cloud of material associated with a young sun which was rotating slowly. The revised nebular hypothesis was propounded by Karl Wiesecker in Germany and Otto Schmidt in Russia. They regarded that a solar nebula surrounded the sun and that the nebula comprised chiefly of hydrogen, helium, and something they called dust. The collision of the particles and the friction had caused a disc-shaped cloud to form, and then the planets were created via the accretion process. Now here's another question for you all. The Earth has reached its present form, passing through several phases. Explain. Alright, Slaters, let us move on now. The knowledge about the interior of the Earth is obtained through direct and indirect sources. The direct sources include rock materials from mining and molten magma from volcanic eruptions. Scientists are also working on deep ocean drilling projects and integrated ocean drilling projects. These projects have provided information about the interior of the Earth through an analysis of the materials which are collected at different depths of the ocean. The indirect sources include meteors that at times reach the Earth, also gravitation, magnetic field, and seismic activity. Most of the information about the Earth's interior has come from seismic studies. Now we move to the next question. Why is the information that we have about the Earth's interior so limited? Give reasons. Let's continue now. In our earlier video, we had seen about the theory of continental drift that was proposed by Alfred Wegener. Now let us discuss the evidence for this theory of continental drift. Alfred Wegener knew about fossil plants and animals. One such animal is the Mesosaurus, which is also called as the middle lizard. It is a freshwater reptile that is known to be found only in South America and Africa during the Permian period. But the remains were also found on other continents. Wegener also matched up rocks on either side of the Atlantic Ocean like the pieces of a puzzle. And thus, he proposed the theory of continental drift. Now here's the last question for today. Explain the theory of continental drift in your own words. And before we wind up today's session, here's a quick recap of the questions that I'd posed to you throughout this interactive video. Take a look, and I'll see you in the next session. But before we catch up next time, I want you to write down the answers to these questions in your geography classwork. And until we meet next time, happy learning, Slaters!